You're listening to Mouthbuzz, where the noise never shuts up, and neither do we. Well, thanks for joining us on Mouthbuzz.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
You're a bit chipper.
Bit chipper. I've already had some coffee, so I've perked up a little bit. Well, here we are today, and we're broadcasting from Redcliffe Markets. Now, Redcliffe is located just a little bit north of Brisbane, perched on Moreton Bay. It's a peninsula that juts out into Moreton Bay. And every Sunday, some very amazing people barricade off a whole section of the esplanade.
Sounds like warfare.
It does. Along the foreshore in Redcliffe, there's like this whole street gets closed off and it gets filled with people with lots of things to sell, from food, vegetables, coffee, bread. What else do they have there?
Knickknacks.
Knickknacks.
Yeah. Oh, awesome falafels.
Falafels.
Herbs. Teas.
Oils, clothing.
Lots.
All the restaurants are open, all the shops are open, and tons of people come from far and wide to visit this place. It's very busy, very amazing, and certainly worth coming for a look one day, as we are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Everything's happening.
Wow. So what have we got on the agenda today?
Okay. The buzz today is a variety of topics. Wealthy or just well spent? The art of actually having money.
Money. I like money.
Money makes the world go around. Bodies beyond warranty. Are we outliving the original blueprint?
Interesting.
Vote now, think later. What early voting says about us.
Right, because we've just had the election.
We got the results in.
Results are in this morning. Well, probably last night.
And this emotion is wrecking your body. And guess what? It's not sugar.
An emotion-wrecking body. Body-wrecking emotion.
Friday, buses and unexpected confessions. Welcome to teacher heaven. A very short walk. 500 dachshunds, try to break a record and our hearts. Aww.
I heard that they're also called sausage dogs and wiener dogs.
Yes.
No comment on the wiener. No comment on the wieners.
Absolutely not.
Goodness gracious. Where are we going to start?
Okay. Let's go with vote now, think later. What early voting says about us. I think it's topical.
Well, one of the things that was quite unusual is that quite early on there was some 4 million voters had voted early because Australia had what they call pre-polling stations.
I think it was higher than that.
No, it was, but
okay.
At early on. And then a day or two before the actual normal Saturday election day, which was May 3rd,
yep.
Yep. There were 8 million people had voted in advance of the day.
Wow.
8 million. So that's near 50% of those eligible to vote had already voted.
But the campaign's still going.
Campaign was still going.
Messages are coming in, policies are announced. So that's interesting.
That's interesting. And it was suggested that people had already made up their minds.
Right.
So they just wanted to get in there and get it done.
I have a theory.
Tell me your theory.
My theory is it's Labor Day tomorrow, right? It's a public holiday. Who on earth decides to have an election on a long weekend? What is it that people do on long weekends? They go camping. They go away. They see family. They have 3 days to travel. I think that's why people voted early, because a lot of people went away on a long weekend.
And they were just not going to be around on that day.
That's right.
Yeah. But I think the thing that's interesting for me is that the change in trend of voting.
Yes.
And given that half the population had voted in advance for whatever reason, why do we have this day where you go and vote when you can postal vote, you can pre-poll vote, all these options are available? Why have this one day Why not set up voting so you can vote anytime, say 1 week or 10 days up to the election? You can either go in and vote within that period whenever you want to.
Up to a certain day, and then you have to vote it by a certain
Well, then it's done.
Yeah.
So on May 3rd it's done, but you could have voted on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe they like to build up tension and have the party and all be in this one booked room and then sell. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I suppose they could still have their party, but maybe to do with the build-up?
Well, it could be.
Excitement? I don't know.
What does it matter? I mean, crikeys. I mean, the public has just demonstrated the way that they want this to happen. Why not go with that? Things change, people change, systems change, circumstances change.
Voters change.
Voters change. Let's have a change in the way we vote.
How are you going to put that forward?
I'm going to write to the new Prime Minister, who is the old Prime Minister.
Okay.
I'm sure he'll receive my letter with reverence and gusto and interest. Just like the last letter that I wrote to him.
Right. You got a response?
No.
No.
Oh, I got an automatic.
Saying that your message...
Thank you so much for your email.
Your message has been received. It is important to us, and we will get back to you whenever we can.
That's it. It was pretty much like that.
Yes.
With a big disclaimer on the bottom.
Right. Which said?
The message was about 2 paragraphs. The disclaimer was very long.
Right.
But, oh well.
Well, there you go. That's all we're going to talk about with regards to voting?
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
no more politics.
No more politics. I think we've had a gutful.
Yes. I read something this morning say this is all called a Frankenstein's aberration or something like that.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
We'll watch the rest later.
We shall battle on.
We shall battle on. Go forth, young man.
Go forth and go west.
Okay. Look, after politics, let's go to money.
Oh.
Wealthy or just well spent, the art of actually having money.
Well, this is an interesting thing that I think a bunch of people, certainly I never used to look at it this way, a lot of people have the point of view that money is for spending. And we're trained this way. But what if money was to have? What if there was having money?
Isn't it to buy stuff?
It is. It is. But what if it was also to have money?
What do I do with it if I have it?
Wealthy people have money.
Oh.
Poor people spend money. Poor people spend all the money they have.
Right. And live from payday to payday.
Check to check. Paycheck to paycheck.
Well, I don't get checks anymore.
No checks. That's a good point. Letting my age go there. But the thing is, as kids, we're trained to spend money.
Yes.
So when you get your pocket money, it's a special treat so that you can go and spend it. So actually, it's not even called pocket money anymore. It's called spending money. And you get $1, $5, whatever your family gives you as spending money. But it's this concept of, here's some money, go and spend it.
Yeah.
And there's other ways we train our kids too.
Savings. Savings are saving in order to buy something that's bigger.
Yes.
Like that's worth more.
Exactly.
So you save up for it and then spend it.
All
in one go.
And if as you get older and your aspirations of what you would like to have are greater than the money you've saved or your paycheck, then you have credit cards and debt.
And you go into debt,
and mortgages and all sorts of things like that. But that's not where we're going today. So how do you have money?
Tell me.
The technique that I was taught, and this has been around a long time. I don't think anybody invented it. It sort of evolved. But the basic technique was introduced to me by one Gary Douglas of Access Consciousness, is the idea of putting 10% away of all gross money, the total amount of money you receive in your life. So if you have a paycheck of $1,000 a week, whatever it is, then you take 10% and $100 of that is put into a special bank account to have. It's not a spending account. You're not saving up for anything.
So not spending and not saving.
That's right. It's a having money account.
So it's not like, I'm going to open up a bank account so I can put money away every week or every fortnight in order to go on holiday.
Nope. It's a having money account. And I've been doing this for quite a long time, and my having money account is substantial now. And I got to a certain point where I had a certain amount of money in there, and I suddenly stopped worrying and thinking, and money just went out of my head.
Wow.
I had an ease and a peace with it.
Wow.
I wasn't worrying about paying my bills, or would I be able to pay my mortgage or my rent.
Because that takes a lot of energy.
It does.
And especially if you don't have enough and you have to try and scrape it together to pay something from somewhere and you don't know where you're going to take it from
Exactly.
to make that payment.
And a lot of people that I've talked to about this have said, oh, look, I don't make enough money to 10%. I can't afford to take 10%. And it's like, well, do you buy yourself a beer? Do you have some cigarettes? What sort of clothes do you buy?
Takeaway coffee.
Takeaway coffees. There's lots of places that you're willing to spend money.
Yeah.
And if you took the 10% and you stuck with that and did that every week or every month, however you get paid or however money comes into your life, there will come a point where you just relax about money.
And then you can buy your coffee again, probably.
Probably.
Perhaps.
But it's this commitment to your life.
Yeah.
That if you're going to have money, you have to take some action. And this particular technique of the 10% account is really, really effective at getting you on the path, getting you on the road with that.
I like that. Commitment to your life.
Commitment
of
to your
having
life.
money.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just have
So that's the tool,
Yeah.
the 10% account.
10%.
And if you have great difficulty with that, what a lot of people do is they get a certain amount in there and they go, oh, I could buy something with that. I could buy this thing that I've been desiring, and then they go and spend it,
Yeah.
and suddenly they don't have any money anymore. Don't stress. Don't beat yourself up. Don't judge yourself. Start again
Yeah.
and commit to it.
Like every day's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because having money, there's a certain amount, it's different for everybody, will create an incredible amount of ease with money and your life.
It sounds relaxing.
Yeah, it's relaxing. Cool.
Seeing how it's just ended on a relaxed note, let's talk about bodies beyond warranty. Are we outliving the original blueprint?
Goodness gracious.
That's a huge topic. What do you mean by blueprint? Do we have a blueprint?
I'm so relaxed. I don't know if I can talk about that. This is a mouthbuzz hypothesis.
Right. Oh, goodness. We have a hypothesis?
We have a hypothesis.
What's a oh, never mind. Plural form of hypothesis.
It's simply a theory it's not proven.
It's just some thought buzziness in our heads.
Thought buzz.
Thought buzz. Nice.
It came about in my world. My dad is 92 years old.
Holy guacamole.
He's doing well. He's doing great.
He still drives.
He still drives. He plays golf.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on, and he's been in really good health all his life. And recently, he was having trouble breathing. He found if he bent over, he would be short of breath. If he climbed some stairs, he would be short of breath. So he went for a checkup, and they did some work on him, and the specialist said, you have a leaky heart valve. And so what's happening is the heart's not putting enough blood through the lung system.
That sounds serious.
To collect the oxygen that the lungs provide, so therefore your blood provides the body with oxygen from your lungs, so therefore you're not getting enough oxygen.
Okay.
And the doctor said, look, it's not life-threatening.
Oh, okay.
What we'll do is come back and see me in 4 months, and we'll check you again. And so what they're going to do is monitor it and see how it goes. But I was looking at this going,
Isn't it funny? Every time anyone says something about the heart, I immediately think that they're going to die.
Right. Well, that's the
but it's not
general point of view,
life-threatening.
isn't it?
Yes, I know.
Leaky valve.
Yeah.
Now, I was thinking about that. I was thinking, my dad's 92. I mean, it's not so long ago that the average lifespan in Australia for men around about this time is something like 81, 82 years.
Okay, high.
Yeah, it's older for women. I think it's around 84, 86 years for a woman in this now here in 2025. And if you go back to the beginning of the 19th century, and don't quote me here because I don't have the numbers in front of me. I did look it up. The lifespan was around 40, 45 years, somewhere around there.
Right.
Okay. And if you go back to what they call ancient times, it was around 24 years for
Yeah,
men.
I remember you saying that. That is...
Yeah, people...
That's crazy.
24 years back in ancient time. And there's some other stats. But what you can see is this progress over time, how the lifespan has
Increased.
And,
Dramatically.
and in the last couple of hundred years, a lot.
Yes.
Like 30 or 40 years.
Yes.
And so what I'm looking at is, when bodies were designed, I mean, it's taken thousands and thousands of years for bodies to evolve into what we have now. But in the last couple of hundred years, lifespan has increased dramatically.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, has the body gone past its use-by date? Like we're artificially keeping it alive longer, so therefore things that were designed to work for 20, 30, 40, 50 years are now having to work for 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years.
Right.
And we have my dad with a leaky heart valve.
But you just said if bodies have evolved, would that blueprint initial, well, whatever that word is, does that not mean that the body parts have evolved with it?
Well, yes and no. What I'm saying is the body has evolved over thousands of years, but in the last 200 years,
so
the
quite
lifespan
fast.
has been increased way out of proportion to those previous years.
Yeah.
And so bodies that were designed to live for, let's just round the figures up and make it easy. If you've got a body designed to live for 50 years and you're able to extend that to 90 years, would some parts wear out? Leaky heart valve.
Yeah. And with my dad, who's 80, knees.
Knee joints.
Yep.
All these kind of things. And particularly these things that get a lot of activity, like your heart goes 24/7. You know, your knees and your joints are working a lot. These are high wear areas.
It's a bit depressing.
It is. But I mean, look, the solution for my dad is one of several techniques. One of them is to replace the valve.
Yeah.
There's pacemakers.
Do they do operations for people above 90?
They can do.
Okay.
That's why the monitoring's going on, because they're thinking, well, he's only got another few years to live.
Right.
Now, he might live to be 110, who knows?
Yes.
With my dad, and they're looking at that remaining lifespan and whether or not the leaky valve will be okay for a bit longer.
Yeah.
So there's a choice there to be made.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it's an interesting thought. And what can we do about it? Well, not a lot.
Well, I don't know. Be as healthy. But then what is healthy, right? Different for different people. But yet we all follow similar instructions. And then I'm thinking about it again. Drink so many litres of water. This is how much movement you need. And that if I tried to follow all the different things that people put forward for me to stay healthy for longer, that stresses me out and I think I'll die quicker.
Yeah. Well, I had a conversation with my dad about this and some other things, and I'm saying, look, you should be taking some magnesium, and how about this and how about that? And then I thought, you know what? You're 92 years old, you play golf 3 times a week.
Yes.
You drive your car, you clean your own house and mow your own lawn. You've done pretty well.
Yes.
And you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Maybe
and
you don't
cares
need
for his
magnesium.
partner.
Yeah. Crikeys.
Woman in his life. It's like,
What a great life.
yeah.
And still going.
So here's some young whippersnapper telling him what to do.
Yeah.
Although he's been doing really well.
Yeah, exactly.
The young whippersnapper was you, by the way. not so young.
Beg your pardon?
Oh, sorry.
Dear.
Well, talking about body, I had something interesting happen this week, and this is under the heading, This Emotion is Wrecking Your Body, and it's not sugar.
Tell me about that.
Well, you know my my computer skills. Yeah.
Getting better every day.
Okay, I was going to say not so up there. Anyway, I was working with some formatting, and when I write criteria sheets, there's a certain criteria that we're supplied and we have to use that. But it's a criteria for everything that you have to test over 2 years. So per exam, then you have to shorten it. And it comes in a table and you copy the table and then you have to delete rows that you don't need.
Right.
So I deleted those rows and then the first column on the left-hand side, they've put the writing on the side.
Okay.
So it goes up rather than across. And when I deleted the top row, the top one disappears on the side.
Accidental deletion.
And I thought, how can a row be connected to a column and delete information? Then I went into Google and researched, how do I do this? How do I do that? Then I followed those instructions and none of them worked. So I got really frustrated and there was no one at work to help me. I was working after work. I missed my computer whizzes who usually helped me with that. So I got really angry. And then a colleague came back in after a meeting and I just let loose. I'd been so intensely tight and I started yelling and screaming and she said, oh, I can't help you, I've got to go. And I said, no, you don't have to help me. Just, I said, you're better off walking out of this room right now and not listening to me and just go.
Were you having a bit of a rant?
Oh, I was beyond rant.
Did you use naughty
Way
words?
beyond rant.
Naughty words?
I was, every expletive I can possibly think of. Luckily, I didn't throw my laptop out the window.
I've seen that done before.
Nor did I punch it. I was angry and I kept it in as much as I could without destroying anything physically.
Because it's not appropriate to really go off.
No, that's right. Really smashed. I really could have smashed something. I miss smashing something. Anyway, next morning I woke up and my body was so sore.
Oh.
I had a headache, I had a neck ache, my head was pounding, everything was tense, and it took me probably 8 hours to release all of it. I didn't take any tablets or anything.
Is that why you were so grumpy?
Probably. What do you mean? But
Grumpy pants.
so this amount of frustration hurts my body. It has an actual physical reaction.
I can well imagine.
Yeah. And I thought, no one will care, only I care about it, and I printed all my exams.
And that was it.
Yeah, and next time I'll try and fix the formatting.
But in the meantime, you had to deal with this, with all of the discomfort of your body.
Yes.
Because you'd pretty much hammered it.
I did.
Stress.
Yes.
Release of adrenaline in your body.
Yeah. I could have gone and killed a saber-toothed tiger.
Muscles clenched.
Yeah.
Brain going around in circles.
Yeah.
Goodness. So how would you do it differently now that you're aware that this kind of behaviour impacts your body?
So if I don't know how to do the formatting, maybe I can set it out differently or just do exactly as I did and don't care about whether the writing is on its side and it looks well and just not worry about it and print it.
So you said an important word there, which was care.
Care, yeah.
Now, I remember one of your colleagues mentioning to you some time ago, he said, care less.
Yes, careless.
Care less. Not be careless,
No.
but care
I think
less.
I have to care less about being perfect.
Well, what I would suggest to you is the spreadsheet or the form that you were working on was badly designed.
Yes.
In the first place.
Yes.
So you had to work with a badly designed...
Yes, always.
Which made you feel incompetent because you couldn't work with this.
Yes.
But the fact was the thing was badly designed in the first place.
Yes.
It was flawed.
Yes.
And you were trying to work with it.
I was trying to...
And then you judged yourself as being stupid.
Yes.
Because you couldn't work with this thing.
Yeah. It's not user-friendly.
It doesn't matter if it was other people's. The fact was the whole thing was flawed.
It's just not user-friendly for what the files they've shared for us to use.
Yeah. And I think this happens with computers quite a lot, where people try and do something and then they judge themselves as being stupid. They get frustrated and they can't figure out why they can't work it. But in fact, the fact was that the computer malfunctioned, the thing was designed badly.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually their fault in the first place. But we tend to think the computer's right.
We do.
We tend to think the computer's perfect and we should be able to figure it out. But the fact is maybe that particular thing was so badly designed, maybe it had a bug, maybe it was frozen, maybe lots of things. But I mean, often very smart people get stuck on computers.
Okay.
And it's not them.
And quite a few things are not so user-friendly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, take the motor car. We drove here in a car this morning. It's automatic. It's well. Instrument panels are good.
Yes.
It's well laid out. You sit in the car. It's designed for your body. Cars have been evolving in their design for a long, long time.
Yes.
We're getting to the stage with cars where they don't break down, where tyres don't go flat, where they're easy to drive. There's lots of mirrors. It's really well designed. You were given a form that had probably been gobbled together in a very short period of time that hadn't really considered somebody else might be using it. It was badly designed.
Okay.
End of story.
That makes me feel better.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that.
Maybe next time I ring you and say I have a frustration, you say, it's the design. To relax. Okay. Then I don't have to give myself a headache or put my body through the horrible experience.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Good. I like it. Computers are weird things.
Yes, they are.
I like them, but they are weird things.
And you like them more than most.
Probably.
Okay. Tell me about the very short walk. Let's talk about something cutesy. Very short walk, 500 dachshunde try to break a record.
Well, on one of the areas that we do this show from, there's a walking path and there's a lot of people taking their dogs for walks. And there were a couple of people who had pairs of sausage dogs.
Yes.
I'm going to give the English
Good
colloquial
idea.
is colloquial. I can't say ducks.
And I can't say dachshund in an English way.
Right. And they are the cutest little dogs, right? They've got these tiny little legs, these long bodies, and they trot along there and they're so incredibly brave. I mean, they have no fear of large dogs or large things. They'll just bark at them anyway.
I know, they bark at me.
They bark at you. And so it was just of interest to me. I mean, didn't we nickname them Minnie and Mo, or was that the Chihuahuas? Oh,
that was a chihuahua.
Anyway, they're just some of our videos have these little sausage dogs on them, cute as. So I saw on ABC News that in Hungary, in Budapest, there was a whole group of people, and the sausage dog is the most popular dog in that country.
That's weird.
Yeah, that they had got together to try and break a McGuinness.
That's funny. A country named Hungary and no, let's not go there.
And so they got together to do this walk to break the Guinness Book of Records world record for the number of dogs of the same breed being taken for a walk at the same time.
Wow.
Okay? And so they got 500 of these little dogs out walking.
500?
500. And
I'd like to see that.
look, you'll probably find a video of it somewhere.
Yeah, probably. I have to
They're
go
just
looking.
Gorgeous. And they went for a walk, but unfortunately they didn't break the record.
Oh.
Because the record is held, I think, in Germany.
Regensburg.
I'm glad you said that. And the number of dogs that they had at that particular event was 1,175 of the same breed.
Wow. They must have travelled. They can't have 1,175 dachshunde in Regensburg. Regensburg is not a huge big city.
Maybe it was taken over by these particular dogs and their owners.
That's fun. That all came for the walk from out of town, right?
Right.
That would be amazing to see too.
So I always thought it was quite humorous because the sausage dogs have such little legs that if they were taken for a walk, it would be a short walk because they only can take little steps.
Yeah, yeah.
So what ended up with is the 500 sausage dogs, the dachshunds, that was enough to get a Hungarian record.
Right.
But not the world record.
Okay.
So they're going to have another crack at it next year. and see what else they can put together.
Cute. If we had a big dog walk here with the most popular breed in Australia, I think at the moment, is the Cavapoo.
Ah, yes.
Would we have 1,000 Cavapoos?
Imagine having 1,000. Can you imagine? No.
No, you were just going to go to picking up the poop, right?
Let's not go there. It's a good thing they don't have a horse walk. They need like a front end loader behind to scrape up all the stuff.
I'm glad not everybody has a cow in their home too. Or an elephant for that matter. Walk of 1,000 elephants.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, now we're getting silly.
You're just getting silly now.
Okay.
It's getting out of hand.
How about Friday buses and unexpected confessions? Welcome to Teacher Heaven.
Is this you doing a confession?
No.
No?
No. Students' confessions.
So I know
sometimes.
that on the afternoons you're sometimes allocated bus duty. What is bus duty?
Okay. Bus duty is after school. When school finishes, the bell goes at 2:55, and you as a teacher of bus duty, you have to go to whichever bus stop it is, and you stand there for anything from 15 to 30 minutes. You either go to the crossing and you assist the students to cross safely, or you're at
Traffic control.
Well, but you don't have a lollipop thing like a stop sign at high school.
Do you think if you had some lollipops, you'd have more influence on students?
Oh, I would love one of those big stop signs.
I was thinking about those little sweet ones that you stick in your mouth.
I would love one of those stop signs. I could whack a few people who
could
do the
whack
wrong thing. I could whack the cars
Crowd
that don't stop at the crossing and just smash them. Oh my God, that would let out my computer frustrations, wouldn't it? I would do bus duty every day. But for some weird reason, I love bus duty on a Friday afternoon. I've been doing it for a few years and people think I'm nuts. That's the time where I say goodbye,
Why do you like it?
goodbye.
Why do you like it?
I love saying goodbye to the students on Friday and wishing them a weekend.
Oh, nice.
Or long weekend. Sort of get brownie points. Have a good weekend. Don't come back till Tuesday. But what else happens? Kids chat.
Ah, so out of the school environment,
Yeah.
they're more open to conversation?
Not everyone. Some are grumble bums and they put their head down and just race past me. Don't make contact. Don't make eye contact. Don't even talk to me. Students are all different, of course.
Of course.
But a large majority, they chat.
Nice.
So I had a very cool chat Friday. I asked the students, so how are you going? I said, I don't teach that student this year. How are all your subjects? And this person told me, well, I have music and I don't like it. And I said, why don't you like it? Because this person's a good musician, right? Can read music, plays instruments, etc. And he said to me, well, I chose the subject because my best friend wanted me to do it.
Ah.
And I said, silly Billy, I said, promise me you will never, ever choose another subject because of a friend.
Did you really say silly Billy?
Probably. He said to me, you know what? That's really good advice. I wish I would have listened to it sooner. He said, you've told me that once before. And I said, well, that's my 10 cents worth. And he said to me, no, that's actually very helpful. Thank you.
That's cool.
And then off he went.
Wow. So he was choosing for someone else,
Yes.
not choosing what would work for him.
Students do that so often.
Yeah.
I have one plea to parents. Get engaged with your students, with your child's subject choices at high school and have a discussion. What would be best for them to learn?
Yeah.
What are you interested in? What do you like? What do you enjoy? What do you want to try out? And go with that instead of a friend. That is 6 months of a subject where that student could have done something else that they may have enjoyed more or learnt a skill in.
Yeah. And like just taking that further, how often do we make some choices as adults based on somebody else's wants and needs and desires and requires.
Yes.
And not really looking at what will work for us.
Yeah.
And then we go along and we regret it later.
Yeah.
Or we fight it, or
we wish we'd have done something else. And then that moment's gone.
Yeah.
So great lesson. Great chat. Great confession.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Friday afternoons.
That's fantastic. Actually, I'm doing some work with a lady called Wendy Mulder. She does courses for caregivers.
Yep.
And it's one of the big things that she has in her book, Dying Happy, The Gift of Choice, is when you're faced with the situation of caring for somebody, say an older parent, or even a dog, or your animal, you've really got to ask yourself, what's going to work here for me and them?
Because if it doesn't work for you, then you can't do the job properly.
That's right. Or you go and do the job because you have some obligation.
Yes.
And then you fight it later because...
Well, and you might even, if you do something out of obligation, you might hurt your body. That's
right.
Because you're not really happy with it.
That's right. You get angry, you get frustrated, you do the stress thing.
Yep.
And then you're functioning very much less than you can be.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. That is a great Friday bus stories.
Goes into different places.
It does. I like that. Wow. Well, we've talked a lot today.
I know. Lots of interesting topics.
Lots of interesting subjects. So is that it for us this morning?
That's it for us this morning.
Okay. Well, same time next week?
Same time next week.
Same place?
Perhaps not.
Somewhere else. Excellent. See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.